Good day, everyone. So for today, we are going to discuss again factoring polynomials. But this time, we will have the difference of two squares. To recall, when we say factoring polynomial, we are just rewriting a polynomial as a product of polynomials of smaller degrees. Now, you have to take note of this general factoring strategy. So whenever you have a polynomial, in order for you to factor it completely, the first thing that you need to do is to always check for the greatest common factor, just like what we did in our previous video. So you need to factor out first the common monomial factor of the terms in a given polynomial. After you have done this, you will now identify whether your polynomial is a difference of two squares, sum of two cubes, difference of two cubes, perfect square trinomial, or general trinomial. Okay, so for today, we are going to discuss how to factor polynomials, which are difference of two squares. Now, from the name itself, difference of two squares, it is a binomial whose first and last terms are perfect squares. And the operation between these two terms is subtraction. That's why it is called difference of two squares. Okay, so let's have an example. For example, we have this polynomial. Factor completely x squared minus 16. We have to check first if the first and last term are perfect squares. So let's have x squared. Now x squared can be obtained by multiplying x by x. Therefore, x squared is a perfect square. The operation is subtraction. And 16 is also a perfect square since this can be obtained by multiplying 4 by itself. Okay? Now, for us to factor this one, whenever we have difference of two squares, again, whenever we have difference of two squares, we always expect that our factors will be the sum and difference of two terms. Okay, so for our answer, we are expecting that we have two terms. One is the sum, and then the other one is the difference. Okay, now for us to get the two terms, we will just get the square root of the first term, and the square root of x squared is equal to x. Okay, and we also need to get the square root of the last term. So square root of 16 is equal to 4. Therefore, the factors of x squared minus 16 is equal or are x plus 4 and x minus 4. Now, how are we going to check if our answer is correct or not? Simply, we will just multiply again the factors. Okay, so multiplying x times x, we will have x squared. And then, multiplying the outer and the inner, it's negative 4x and positive 4x. Therefore, it will be canceled out. And of course, we will multiply the last term. This is equal to negative 16. Okay? Now, since if we multiply the factor, again, if we multiply the factors, it is equal to our given. Therefore, the factors x plus 4 and x minus 4 is correct. Okay? Now, let's have our second example. Now, let's factor completely 2x squared minus 8y squared. Now, if you have noticed, this polynomial is not a difference of two squares. because 2 and 8 are not perfect square numbers. But remember, if we will go back to our general factoring strategy, we need to check first for the greatest common factor of the terms for us to completely factor the given polynomial. So we have 2x squared minus 8y squared. First term is 2x squared, and the last term is 8y squared. Now, if you have noticed, 2 and 8 are both even numbers. Therefore, we can say that it has a common factor, which is 2. So, let's factor out 2 first. Factoring out 2, what will remain inside will be 2x squared divided by 2, which is x squared. Then, copy the operation, which is minus. And 8y squared divided by 2 is equal to 4y squared. Okay? Now, take a look at our binomial. If you have noticed, x squared is a perfect squared. We have minus, and 4y squared is also a perfect squared. Therefore, this is not yet the final factors of the given polynomial. Meaning, x squared minus 4y squared is still factorable because this is an example of difference of two squares. Now remember, difference of two squares has two factors. Okay, which are the sum and difference of two terms. So we will copy 2. Let's not forget this one because this is still part of the factor. Again, this is still part of the factors of 2x squared minus 8y squared. Okay, so we will just copy 2. Then factor x squared minus 4y squared. Expect that we have a sum or difference of two terms. So we have plus and minus. Let's get the square root of x squared. Square root of x squared is equal to x. Okay, so we have here x. And square root of 4y squared is equal to 2y. Okay, now if you want to check if these factors are correct, so we will just multiply these polynomials. Okay, and the result must be equal to our given, which is 2x squared minus 8y squared. So this will be our factors for the given polynomial. Okay, so that's how we factor completely polynomial given that the polynomial is a difference of two squares. Okay, thank you.